Howdy everyone, it's been a while since I've made any kind of TikTok-y updates, so I figured I would real quick. I am currently in Mayfield, Kentucky, which is where I am basically relocating to. My mother is aging and she just needs more caretaking, and for the past year or so, well, year and a half, she bought a house here, and I've known that I'd be moving here in the near future to help her out, and not just with the house and stuff like that, and help her make, informed decisions, but because she also has neighbors to one side that have constantly thrown abuse, harassment at her, and this year actually caused so much damage to her life, by one of them playing on her sympathies and sneaking into her home as a squatter while I was away past summer. That last month we had to pay her mortgage twice to catch her up. Double mortgage in 1 month to catch her up. I'm here because my mother needs help, but I'm also here because the city of Mayfield has failed to keep her safe. And you might say, well, how were they to know about a household of derelicts? Police are there all the time. Police are there all the time, on a regular basis. And whenever I showed up and found out, I didn't even know. My mother kept the squatter from me, the information, because she didn't want to bother me, because she knew I had too much going on in Michigan, which caused her life to get worse and worse down here, to the point where I came down to visit and met this dude for the first time in his 80s. He was sleeping in her room while she was sleeping on a couch outside of that room in her own home, and she was caretaking him because he's dying of pancreatic cancer, supposedly, any week now, was what he told her. Well, 3 months later, he was still living in her house, rent-free, taking advantage of her. And when I showed up and was there a few days and said, look, man, you gotta go, he moved back into the house next door. Just like that. No problems. He could have been there the whole time. But he saw a vulnerable woman he could play on her sympathies and take advantage of her. And since he's at the end of his life anyway, who cares, right? And the police know all about this guy. It's my understanding that he's on a sort of jail leave, so he can get dialysis, okay? And then when I got here and looked him up and see what kind of record he has, oh yeah, felony handgun possession, violence, assault with a deadly weapon, living in my mother's home. So I hit the ground running here, and I'm currently on a board for a local nonprofit. I am gardening, I am teaching others to garden, I am posting, I am literally cleaning up sidewalks with my free time, as you may have seen from some other videos. But basically, because the leadership in Mayfield, since the tornado 3 years ago, has not done right by the community. I mean, I've been coming around here for a year and a half, and I've noticed almost no changes. The place looks, at best, what it should have looked like within a year after the tornado. There's been tons of federal money coming in, all kinds of things, and yet, I don't know, man, it's still beat to heck. And the community feels very disenfranchised from the decisions the leaders are making. And so you may also have seen some videos of me going to Mayfield City Council meetings where I had my public comment rights infringed on 2 times in a row. Y'all know how I feel about that. Denied the right to speak when I showed up. So I have discovered that 100% of the residents I talk to in this community, 100% of the people I talk to about gardening and bringing live music events to the community are for it. They're like, fantastic, we're rebuilding, that sounds great. Urban gardening, man, I'd love to integrate that in Mayfield. Should be great. 100%. Of the 10 council members, not a single one of them has said anything negative or contrary to what I've been doing. However, Mayor Cathy O'Nan has consistently refused to respond to my emails, denied me public comment, and otherwise tried to diminish and stop everything I'm doing. For the same reasons that James Freed and Pauline Rep did in Port Huron, Michigan. They don't want to be upstaged. The issue, particularly with small town councils and small town politics, is that these council members in Port Huron, not yet here, the 10 council members here have been, nothing to really complain about, nothing to get too excited about, except for a couple of them, but nothing to complain about either. But generally speaking, small town politicians believe they are responsible for the cultural development of their community. And you can't build culture top down. They're responsible for the infrastructure, the streets, the sidewalks, the signs, the economic development, but not the cultural development. That's the people. If some city says, oh, we're going to build a museum to wood carving and hope everybody gets into wood carving, and then the people are like, well, we'd prefer to do quilting. The people aren't wrong for that. If the city builds some kind of mini mall, glorified mini mall like the Wrigley Center in Port Huron, and nobody goes to shop there, that's not a failure from the people to do what the city told them to. That's a failure for the city to accurately assess what the people want. Okay. Now in bigger cities, honestly, in my experience, there's less of that corruption because there's just a lot more accountability. But in small towns, it's like, well, the mayor said, so mayor can't do illegal stuff. So politically, unfortunately, going to the city council here, I came to them with good news and updates and courtesy, and the mayor specifically, Mayor Cathy Onan, has treated me like garbage. And so at the next council meeting here in Mayfield this coming Monday, I'm going to speak directly to the 10 council members and inform them that the next time they see me down there, I'm going to be reading the Mayor of the Riot Act, and to just prepare themselves for me hurting her feelings on public record, because yeah, I'm going to hurt her feelings. So that having been said, the 100% of the community itself is in support of what I'm doing. I'm making all kinds of headway. Even a number of public officials have shown a measure of support. But one person in the entire community has consistently shown negativity and dismissal towards what we're doing. And she just so happens to be the mayor. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The tornado that happened 3 years ago did not destroy her house. And so far as I can tell, the tornado that devastated this community, killed, I think, somewhere near 100 people, was the best thing to ever happen to Cathy Onan. She's had her 15 minutes of fame, and she's rubbing elbows with Andy Beshear, and she's doing all this great stuff while simultaneously infringing on the rights of the people here consistently, while simultaneously creating the divide, causing it between local politicians and the community. So that's a big update, but let me tell you, I'm just giving you a warning. It's about to go down.